Okay, so hi everyone. In this presentation, I'm going to talk about anonymity and a specific, very special, and a very crucial software which is known as TOR. So, first of all, as we already know that our privacy, namely privacy, is not secure, and we are not in we're not in control of our privacy in our data and our information. It can be any kind of information, or if we are online and we are using the internet. It's just simple matter of using any device with that is connected to the internet. And in regards to this, the data that is already stored in your device is it's not even protected as well. Because why? How it's not even protected? Because the device which you are using is logged, is online, and it's connected to the internet. So we already know about the how to capture the data, as we have discussed and we have learned from our previous lectures, which is by a software known as Wireshark. Wireshark is a tool used for monitoring and capturing the traffic of the internet, and we know about the details of that software. So, but that software is used to capture and monitor the data which a user is sending or receiving. But how a user can uh, protect itself and its data from being spied on, from being captured, and from being uh, uh, stop the data from being tracked, and any kind of activity the user does on the internet. So for that, the user has to uh, do some uh, proper procedure, has to follow some proper procedure and use some protocols and some very smart and intellectual procedures, which are related to anonymity. And by using there are other softwares as well that are used, that provide services that for a user to protect his data and be anonymous and stop from being tracked on the internet. So anonymity is basically used, as you can see from the picture as well, that it masks your location, your identity when you're using the internet. And TOR, this is a software, and it's known as the Onion Router. TOR, the Onion Router, short form TOR. So you use this software in order to surf the internet, in order to use the internet anonymously. So both of these terminologies are interlinked. I will explain them in the coming slides. Okay, so the outline is as follows. First of all, I'm going to talk about the introduction of to anonymity. We know, if any one of you knows the word anonymous, he may know the definition. But in terms of networking and in terms of wireless communication and basically security, so how does the anonymity relate to that? And afterwards, I'm going to talk about the anonymity in detail, and then we're going to look at the onion algorithm, how uh, the TOR the uses the techniques, the schemes to provide its services. The basically how the what is the infrastructure of the software, and then I'm gonna come to the main software, where that is the TOR, and I'm gonna talk about its detail as well, and then we're going to see how it actually works, and afterwards I'm gonna talk about how a person can stay anonymous, and what are the norms, and what are the steps and the details the user has to take into consideration. And afterwards, I'm gonna conclude the presentation. So, introduction to anonymity. So basically, what is anonymity? Anonymity is the state of being unidentifiable within a set of subjects. Subjects meaning, for example, this is a very broad topic, because internet is nowadays globally, and there are huge. huge traffic and a huge data and a huge content. So subjects is can involve many types of things. So anonymity is the state of being unidentifiable. That means your identity. That when you talk about the internet in a network, that is your IP address. That has to be unidentifiable because your IP address can be directly, if it is tracked, then it can lead to directly to your system, that is your PC. And afterwards, if you remember when we were using Wireshark to capture the traffic from the virtually or from a local PC. So the Wireshark actually caught the IP address, the MAC address from source and the destination. So as from this, you can see that these three information are very easily one can acquire these information. So we have to, in order to be anonymous, in order to acquire the state of anonymity, we have to mask these identities. So hiding your activities among other similar activities. This is and also as aspect of being anonymous and is related to anonymity. For example, you are among public, you are using a public network, and there are thousands of users using the same network, and thousands of identities are there, and thousands of people are doing other kind of activities. Some can be similar, some are different. So how can you hide your activity? What activity are you are doing? So that is related to being anonymous. That means you hide your activity among the activities that other people are doing online. And you cannot be anonymous by yourself. This is a technical statement, but we're going to see how it is related to being anonymous in the coming slides. Unlinkability of action and identity. That means if you are anonymous, a government organization, or it can be any other organization, a company. For example, you already know Facebook and other Google. They track the information of the users, so they can directly link to the action and the identity of the user by following the patterns, the habits, what the user does. So being anonymous, the action and identity cannot be linked. They are unlinkable. An observer cannot even tell whether a certain action took place or not. So that means when you are in anonymous state and you are using the internet, you are online. Nobody can tell. Nobody can observe what action took place or not. Even if you are sitting in a place crowded with people, if you're anonymous, then no any one of the people cannot observe or judge what the person actually did. So this is the very beneficial, and today's network and today's era, this is very crucial part of I think a person should have in mind, but unfortunately it's not. So you are not anonymous. How? I mean, a person can ask, I use VPN, I use uh, there are other options when we use Google Chrome browser, and so why am I not anonymous? So how? Your IP addresses can be linked directly to you, as I mentioned earlier, because IP address is the one thing that can be easily accessible. It can be acquired very easily. So if you are not masking your IP address, your MAC address, your passwords, your information when you log into any app, any website, or you give your credentials to any website, that can be used directly against you if it's not in a very negative manner, but it can be used against you, or you or some organization is tracking you, is spying on you, what are you doing. So by doing this, if you're not properly hiding, properly masking your every activity, then you are not anonymous. ISPS, that means International Ship and Port Facility Security Code, stores communication records. Communication records mean it has been active for about many, I think, 20 years almost after the 9/11 attack. So this facility actually stores communication records, and these communication records are can be stored for several years, and this is directly linked to data retention laws of the country. And your browser, which whatever your browser you use, is already being tracked in terms of cookies, flash cookies, I mean, in terms of networking. When you use your browser and you visit a website, an option pops up saying, in order to access the website, you must use uh, cookies, this and that, and or there's a tag bait that means in order to have a best experience, use allow cookies. So in terms of these uh, uh, ways, in these ways, the companies, the browser is being tracked, and HTML and browser fingerprinting is also one of the its aspects. Okay, so who uses anonymity systems? If you're not doing anything wrong, you shouldn't have anything to hide. This is another statement. Let's just assume you're a normal person. You're a very normal human being, and you just use Facebook to socialize. You just internet to have entertainment, to access some educational material, and something like that. That is very, very basic and very common. So why do you think that you need to be anonymous? This is one can think. So anonymity implies that anonymous communication is for uh, criminals, but no, this is not the fact. At least the truth is, who uses this anonymity? And the TOR journalists use this, law enforcement agencies use this, business executives use this, and military intelligence personnel use these approaches. Let's assume why these people, these organizations use it, and a normal people, common people, the public, why the public doesn't even know about these systems and their usage, and why the government and why these organizations um, im, try to implement a bad impression on the its people, on the public, that if the public uses these services, that is an criminal act, because the law enforcement, they do not want the people to learn about how they can secure themselves online. Because if all the people use these services, then how the law enforcement, how the business executive, how the military intelligence personnel can even track the people, what are they doing, what are the activities, what uh, online data they are sending and receiving, what communication is taking place between some parties. So there are many kinds of reasons these people use, and they don't want their customers or the public to use. So why do we need anonymity? First of all, to protect our privacy, avoid being tracked by advertising companies, viewing sensitive content meaning a very content that can have impact on society and on our personal life, information on medical conditions, advice on bankruptcy, protection from prosecution. Not every country guarantees free speech. Free speech meaning you can say whatever you want, and no one can complain, and no one can use that speech against you. But not all countries provide this provide this free speech. So to prevent chilling effects, like it's easier to voice unpopular or controversial opinions if you are anonymous. If you are not anonymous and you are using your real name, you are using your real ID, email address, you are using your PC without any extra protection, and you are commenting, you are watching, and you are doing some activity that is very controversial, then you are uh, at risk of being monitored, being spied, and even being sentenced to jail. So that is very extreme step, but it can happen. So that leads to only one option. If you're determined and if you really want to be secure, then you have to at least know that what is going on and what I need to do in order to secure myself. Okay, so in the OSI layers, starting from the application to the physical layer, anonymity is applied after the application layer, because at the application layer, that is where the data is generated and data is sent. Because, for example, let's assume that I we all use Facebook. That is an application, and we send data and we receive data. We directly generate data from there. For example, we share a post online. That post is sent to the, first of all, is shaped in terms of a presentation and then session, then data is transported through a network, and then data link, and then the physical, and then it is received back, and you already know the process by following the course. So the anonymity layer is applied at the after the application or at the application, and the function is to hide the source destination and the content of internet that flows to the internet and from the eavesdropper. The threats to anonymity. Traffic analysis, passive traffic analysis, that is infer from network traffic who is talking to whom. And to hide your traffic, must carry other people's traffic. You remember previously that I said that if you want to be anonymous, you cannot do that by yourself. So in order to hide your traffic, you must carry other people's traffic as well. So active traffic analysis injects packet or put a timing signature on packet flow. This is also a very related to the traffic, network traffic who's talking to whom, and this is very massive because at the same time the communication that take place is on a large scale and a huge scale. Many people are communicating to each other, and many types of protocols are used, TCP, UDP. So it can get very complex when we try to when we try to monitor or spy. But the companies, the big companies, the organizations, they have the resources. So for us, for normal people, it's very hectic and very financially burdened because if we want to protect ourselves. So compromise network nodes. It is not obvious which nodes have been compromised. Attackers may be passively logging traffic. So sometimes the nodes meaning to our routers. If you talk about the Wi-Fi, that is a router, that is a node, and if it is compromised, we don't know directly because we are not that knowledgeable. If a normal person, he is using Wi-Fi, he is not he's not aware that the connection, the link he is using is compromised or not. So better not to trust any individual node. You may have come across some websites, for example, that look very not trustworthy. The overall shape of the website and the content that it's sharing, the services that it's providing are just too good to be true. So assume that there's some fraction of nodes is good, don't know which. So this is also one of the points. So how traffic analysis works? Internet data packets have two parts. Data payload, generally encrypted. It's from the sender. And traffic analysis still reveals a great deal about what you're doing and possibly what you're saying. This I have mentioned before, that the what you're doing, the activities is related to what activities are you're doing online, and what you're saying. That means what are you communicating? It can be very easily accessible and can reveal a lot about the person and its identity and identity. That means the IP address and the MAC address. Because the header used for routing, it focuses on the header, which discloses source, destination, size, timing, and so on. So simple traffic analysis, sitting somewhere between sender and recipient on the network, looking at the headers. Headers are actually encrypted data which has the information of the source address, the destination, the size, the timing, and from the wireless communication, wireless security lectures. So and there's a sophisticated traffic analysis. That means the encryption does not help against these daggers since it only hides the content of internet traffic, not the headers. This we also have seen when we were using Wireshark. So up until now, uh, what I'm trying to convey is that we are very much compromised. We are entirely compromised because we don't know who can track at any time, and what they are tracking, and at what depth they know about us even better than us. So now talking about the onion routing, all what I've been was right now up until now, what I was trying to prove a point is that our we can the data, the activities we are doing online, the data we are sending, the communication we are using, it can be easily monitored, easily spied on, and the information can be collected very easily if a person is dedicated enough, is determined to get the information. So how can we protect ourselves when we are online, when we use our computer or when we use our mobiles? These two are the things that are mostly used. So a technique for anonymous communication over a computer network, the onion routing, TOR, is a technique for anonymous communication over a computer network. So there are two main aspects. The communication is done anonymously and over a computer network. There are not just two computers, two nodes, the sender and the receiver. There's a whole network related to the onion routing, which we will see in the coming slides. Messages are repeatedly encrypted in the routing procedure and then sent to several nodes, network nodes called the onion routers. Link like someone peeling an onion, and each onion router removes a layer of encryption to uncover routing instruction and send the message to the next router where this is repeated. So from here, you can see that this is a shape of an onion and there are many layers. So this concept applies to this onion routing procedure as well. Onion routing is a type of protocol, and this prevents these intermediary nodes from knowing the origin, the destination, and the contents of the message. So by doing this, we can be anonymous and protect our privacy, our data, because there are many layers of encryption, and the network nodes which are routing the message to another router to another node doesn't know until it decrypts the layer. So basically, this is the structure of the onion router. From the source, you're using your, let's just assume you're using your laptop. If you're using the TOR, the onion routing protocols, the algorithm, the structure is like this. There are many layers: router A, B, C, and the destination. There are three. For example, for simplicity purpose, we have three routers: the blue, green, and the red. Router A, key, B, and C. All the three layers, layer A, B, and C, are encrypted. And when the information, when the message, when the data is when the data is received at a router A, it encrypts the layer and then it sends to the router B. That decrypts the layer and then is sent to the router C, and then that decrypts the layer and then the message received at the destination. This is the process of layer structure, and which is known as the onion routing. Okay, so now moving on to the main TOR software, which is used for the anonymity purpose. The onion router is a distributed anonymous network. Distributed means, from this picture, as we can see that these are the routers, and there's 9 routers. This is a distributed network. There is no one path. There are random paths which a router can take. So this is the beauty of onion routing. This reduces the risks of both simple and sophisticated traffic analysis, which I have explained previously, the simple and sophisticated traffic analysis by distributing transactions over several places on the internet. distributing transaction, that means the activities, the what kind of activity you're doing. For it can be anything, and this TOR protocol distributes that over the network. That means there is no predefined path to take. Their paths are random. Data packets of the TOR network take a random pathway through several relays. There you can also call these onion routers relays as well. So from the sender, you can see that this is there are many encryptions, there are many layers, and this is according to the relays or the onion routers, the routers in the network. So all of this is coordinated, and first router, the information is the data is received the first router. This decrypts the layer, and then it knows what is the next destination, then sends the data, the traffic to the other router. That process repeats the same process, then sends the next to the next router, and then that way there the router knows that now the I need to transfer this traffic to this router, and from there that router will send the traffic to the recipient by no when that router decrypts the information, and it knows that this is the recipient, this is that information, and that the recipient receives the information. No observer at any single point can tell where the data came from or where it's going. How and why an observer cannot tell? Because from the first router the data was encrypted, and then it moved to the other router, the data was again encrypted. The user that sent its message was encrypted by many layers. So up until the message received the recipient, no router knew what was the message and where it came from. So I think this is a very uh, interesting and very convincing point of this TOR algorithm and the technique. TOR is basically the largest and most well-developed anonymity preserving service on the internet. This is its web page of the TOR project company, and from here you can download the software as well. But I recommend that first if you are serious about being anonymous and using this software, first you need to know in-depth detail about this software, and then do download the software and then install it. And afterwards, first you need to know the basics and what needs to be done accurately, and what we do not need to know. So publicly available since 2002. It has been 19 years since it was available. Continuously, it is being developed and improved. And currently, there are 5,000 TOR relays around the world. This is also a very huge benefit of using the TOR software, because all around the world there are volunteer relays, and all relays are run by volunteers. That means people volunteer themselves, that because they know that if the number of the TOR relays increases, the more benefit it will provide to the people who are using the service, and this will be more protective, a very great protection against the privacy and the spying and the monitoring and the tracking as well. So how does this work actually? This is the TOR distributed network. There are many TOR routers, and we have an Alice, which is the sender, and we have Bob. These are the two links, different links. First, in step one, this is the TOR node directory. From here, this directory sends the information by which relay which is the first relay, and from there where the next relay is going to be, and afterwards, in second step, Alice TOR client picks a random path. As I mentioned previously, the paths are random. The paths are not predefined. That is the benefits of this TOR protocol. And the random path to destination server. This is the destination server. Green links is to the router and the second router and the third router. These are encrypted paths, but the rent link are not encrypted because the this can be a website. Let's assume that this is a website. This website is not included into the TOR architecture because this website is independent. So up until this router, the links and the data is encrypted, but here when the it's received by the recipient at the website, it is not the link is not encrypted. It is clear. It is observable. If a person is trying to hack the data, it can that person can access from here. But from the data can be accessed, but the here LS2 routers and up to the third router, the data is protected, and the if the people, if the government or organization, any other organization is trying to hack from these links, they will never know that where the who is the actual sender and what is the address and what is the message. So and what if the at some after some time, what if the user visits and is decided that I need to visit another website? So by using the TOR software, Alice's store client selects a second random path, and again the green links are encrypted. Alice to the this router, and then to the second router, and then to the third router. These are all green links, and the second is the JN is the another website, but this link is not encrypted. It is clear because the TOR doesn't support this. The TOR has the main purpose and main function of TOR is to transport the data safely from the sender to the receiver, but the receiver is not included in the TR service, and that is clear from the routing protocol and the information which I have discussed, which I have delivered. Okay, so how uh, what variable, what directives, and what policies does TOR include? There are directory servers. This is the directory server, the day one. There are variable exit policies, end-to-end integrity checks, end-to-end. That means from router 1 to router 2 to router 3. There are end-to-end integrity checks, rendezvous points, and hidden services. There are congestion controls, user end-to-end acknowledgements. This is uh, from the figure. This looks very simple and straightforward, but in reality, this is not simple. As it looks like look here, because in when the Alice sends when by the TOR software is in the background. There are many protocols. It has its own infrastructure, so and its own protocols. So there is going a lot of going on processing and policies at the back end that take place that assure that the data is transferred safely and it is encrypted and an integrity of the data is 100% accurate. TOR is very good at hiding the source of the traffic. Source, that means the sender, the user, but the destination is often an exposed website. What if we want to run an anonymous service? For example, let's say a website where nobody knows the IP address. This is a very ambitious project because if you have the resources and you have the knowledge, but still you need to be very daring and very careful when you set up this whole process, whole infrastructure. TOR supports hidden services that allow you to run a server and have people connect with it, and you have to be very technical and very careful when a person is trying to use TOR and provide hidden services. Okay, so now staying anonymous. TOR cannot solve all anonymity problems because the job of TOR is to just transfer the user data anonymously to the destination. It focuses only on protecting the transport of data to protect your anonymity, and you have to be smart in how you're using this software to your advantage, and you are not doing anything illegal. So TOR does not provide protection against end-to-end timing attacks. End-to-end timing attack, that means when the data is received at the received at a destination, it there has to be some timing between the sender and the receiver. So that at that point, if a person, if the organization, they know, they have the knowledge, so that they can uh, attack very timingly and very precisely. So if your attacker can watch the traffic coming out of your computer and also the traffic arriving at your chosen destination, they can use the statistical analysis to discover that they are part of the same circuit. So this is the disadvantage if a person, because the website, the destination is not uh, protected and is exposed. So in conclusion, any intelligence agency has unlimited funding to kill freedom by censoring all of us, even censoring the freedom to buy what you want to buy. This is a fact. With the media in their back pocket, they can conjure any uh, uh, boogeyman, or boogeyman meaning any statement, any kind of fact that they want to run over you. It's not illegal for them to lie to you, but it is for us, for you to lie to them. So this an example is like this. For example, when we install an application, we have to allow access of our information, of our contacts, our storage phone. And if you do not allow access to the application, then the application will not work. So basically, we are tied. Our hands are tied. We have to, if we want to use the service, we have to allow the controls of our information, our storage, and our life. We're handing our information to them freely. So this here hypocrisy costs them nothing, but it costs us everything. So like them, we must keep on top of the changes to good security, updating as necessary, and being on constant alert of new zero-day threats. So these from here to here, you must keep on top of the changes to good security if you are determined, and if you want to really, I mean really seriously want to be secure and be uh, uh, protected against any kind of threat. Then we need to know what the threats are there. I mean, there are hundreds and thousands of attacks, many kinds of attacks there are there, and the companies and the organization that spy and whatever, they have the unlimited resources to use those resources in order to carry out the necessary tasks of monitoring and tracking. So we need to be a step further. If we can do that, we can if we are comprehensive, and we have the resources, and we're done, then we can be 10 steps ahead of them. And that will ensure that we are if a person is using each 10 steps ahead, then he's securing himself in the online world. So thank you everyone. This is the end of the presentation, and I hope that every one of you at least now knows that what is anonymous and what is TOR basically. Okay.